Grant, we're on to our next John Piper quote, and he says this: Thankfulness is a sweetly humble experience. It is, in a sense, the very opposite of pride. I think it's a great definition of thankfulness. What do you have that you did not receive? If then you received it, why do you boast as if it were not a gift? That's Paul in 1 Corinthians 4. In other words, thankfulness by its very nature pushes boasting out of the human heart. You can't at the same time be brash, swaggering, boastful, cool, self-sufficient person and a thankful person. You can't. It's not in the same heart. So what he's saying is thankfulness is the opposite of pride. I would imagine everyone has had a circumstance in their life where they've had to let go of pride and let someone else care for them, love them, or, like we talked about last week, where they can't repay someone else for what they've done for them. What do you think about that? Is that something that's happened to you before?
Yeah, I think that this gets at a really core truth about Piper and some other theologians that we've been talking about. Thanksgiving requires a radically humble heart. And that can be really difficult for people to accept sometimes. As prideful people, it's really hard to let go of our own need for self-sufficiency or our own desire to be strong and able to handle what comes at us. It's difficult to receive love sometimes. And I have this, it's trivial, but it's a really good example of a situation like this from my own life. So when I was in college, I think I was a freshman. I was 19 years old, the epitome of, man, I've got the world on a string, and I got this, and my life is my own, and I had everything to prove as a newly independent young man. And so my grandmother, my dad's mom, came out to visit the family from California. Long trip. She doesn't come out all that often. And it's kind of a big deal when she does. And she came to visit me with my parents at school. And now I had this beloved article of clothing. It was a coat that I had that I wore it to pieces. And it was sitting there laid across the couch, and she walked into my dorm room, and she immediately saw it. Like, before she even saw anything else, she saw the coat, and she picked it up, and she looked at the rip that was in it and said, I'm going to fix this for you. It was also something that I was fully capable of doing on my own and had plans to fix. And so I looked at her and I said, no way. Like, you're only here for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. This is not something that is going to be just 15 minutes of work. And then you'd have to come back and give it to me anyway. No. Like, no. And she looked at me and said words that I'll never forget. Grant, sometimes it is an act of love in itself to let somebody love you. And behind that quote was this statement that she was making to me. Let go of your pride over this. Let me love you.
That's good.
And I found myself different after she said that. Thankful to her, like feeling a new sense of love for her that I'd never felt before.
That's good.
Because I let her give me something and took the time to be humble enough to actually receive it. And I think that a lot of people struggle with this. Everybody knows that person who has a really hard time receiving help from anybody. Fantastic people, and they can be the most loving people, or at least seem that way, but Thanksgiving, true Thanksgiving, is letting go of that need to be self-sufficient. And as I think about my own life and how to engage in Thanksgiving in a helpful way, or in a spiritually healthy way in this season, it means letting go of pride and embracing humility. Thanksgiving and thankfulness is a sweetly humble experience, Piper says. You can't experience that sweetness unless you let God love you and take yourself out of the equation.
That's good.